Michelle, I don't know if I'm the only one brave enough to say this, but I feel very much out of my depth. Really and truly, I find it hard to understand. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is just me or if there are other people who are not brave enough.
Okay, so I'll give you, okay, when I taught ninth grade girls, okay, I'll just kind of throw something at you. I taught ninth grade girls in Pelech many years ago in Jerusalem. And I literally spent 3/4 of the year having to quiet girls who said to me, basically, I don't understand. And they basically, you're saying it very politely. Okay, they were ninth graders. They were not as polite. And every time I throw them into chavruta, they would say to me, I don't understand, and they'd start hyperventilating. And I would say to them, the same thing I'm going to say to you, which is, you're not meant to understand right now. Okay. This is the way you learn Gemara. Okay. The way you learn Gemara is by getting, you ever learn how to play piano or a musical instrument, right? In the beginning, you don't know what you're doing and it doesn't sound like anything. And it doesn't sound like a song. It doesn't sound like, right. It just sounds like a bit of a messy something or other. And you have to spend a long, long time. And unfortunately, we're not in the environment where we could spend every week. I mean, I'd love to teach every week a class like this, or learn 4 days a week with you, or, that would be, the ideal would be to spend 5 days a week learning 3 hours a day, and it would be a little bit quicker. But if we're going to do it in this way, you have to know that you need a lot of patience and hard work. And what it means is, go back and you might not understand it, but you'll understand something more. You will get more out of it by going back and looking through and understanding. And it's a long process. It is. It might take years, and you may never get to the place where you think you want to be, maybe, but you will improve. And those ninth graders, I could tell you, by the end of the year, they had seen their progress, right? There's progress, and it's small progress, but it's progress. And for those who learn the daf also, I think the combination, because you hear the rhythm all the time, it makes it a little bit easier. But it's still, unless you look at it yourself and you grapple with it and you struggle with it. And I know the chavruta time is short because I'm trying to balance a few different things at once. And it's for your benefit, because it's not so easy to go to a class where you're learning to play piano, but in the end, you don't hear the song. I want you to hear the song also. So to hear the song also in an hour and a half, we got to do both. You get a little bit of chavruta, maybe not as much as you want, but you also get the shiur and you see the whole picture and coming together. Again, you might not understand every single piece of it, and you can go, it's recorded. You can listen to it again. And it might make more sense after you've read the sources again and then listened again. So that's my recommendation. But don't expect that you can learn Gemara, immediately. I know there was some advertisements going on about a Gemara boot camp, and it was, and you have to be careful. I mean, even Leah Sarna, Rabbanit Leah, we called her course, The Complete Beginner's Guide, she said, wait, I'm not giving you the Complete Beginner's Guide. There is no Complete Beginner's Guide. This is a huge, right? It's a huge thing. Like, there is no such thing as a boot camp. You can't be promised, okay, you're going to go to boot camp and you're going to learn Gemara. By the end, you'll know how to do it. There is no such thing. There's no quick, easy way about it. It's a process. And it's something that over time you'll see small steps. You'll say, oh, wow, yeah, that's a word I know now how to use that word. And I know when I see that, you'll see the punctuation is going to start getting easier, other things, but it will take time. You just need to have a lot of patience.
I just want to echo that, because when I started doing Daf Yomi, I knew I wasn't going to get very much, and I literally didn't, and I didn't even remember from one day to the next. And then slowly, about a year later, when we had the Pesach skills, and I was in Chavruta, and I suddenly went, wow, I just explained something. I did learn something in the last year. And today, my big victory was, oh, I know where to find Torah or Hashalem on the page. That was like my enormous victory. And I was just, instead of looking at everything I don't know and just get really depressed, I'm going, oh, I learned this one thing. And that's a very hard mindset for me to accept. But once I accepted that, then I could enjoy the victories rather than looking at the huge mountain that I've still got to climb.
Yeah.
I would pile on with that. but there are definitely things we need you for. So the whole idea of popularizing, I had a great group. We didn't get to the concept of popularizing, and we needed a different set of resources, you basically, to help us with it.
Right. But that's okay. That's okay. I mean, that's anyone, part of the difficulty here is that we're not in a room together where I can go around from one to the other. I try to go into the rooms and sometimes more successfully than others. But, ideally, when I used to teach in high school, and these were girls who were learning for a few years even, I had a group of 28 girls. I try in Chavruta to get to each one. I didn't always get to each one. They get stuck. They get stuck on this part. It's hard. It's not, sometimes I'd realize everyone was stuck on the same thing. So I'd stop everyone. And then I'd say, okay, we're going to explain this. Here, what I want to be able to do is to get to people who don't have, if you have a class to go to that's given in your neighborhood, that's, once a week or twice a week or something serious, go for it. That's great. I'm trying to be able to create something that for people who don't have those opportunities. And so, I don't have the capability to do it all year long. And I don't know that everyone here would even come all year long. I did notice last time when we had a 10-week course, there was a big dropout rate along the way. So I thought 10 weeks was maybe too much. Last time I said, I can't do less than 10 weeks if I'm going to try to give people skills. On the other hand, I saw that there was a bit of a dropout. So this time we decided to go with 4 weeks, and we'll just keep doing this over time, every few months or once a year, maybe twice a year. And over time, you'll see it'll just get better, but it's slow. It's slow. And, I'm trying a little bit to cut corners, but you can't cut corners here. You have to just go through it. It's the way it is, but you can't get discouraged, right? Just every time you get discouraged, think about my 9th graders, right? And I had to just all year was just holding their hands saying, it's okay. You're not supposed to understand yet. It will come. Okay. That's really what I'm telling you. It will come. You just have to give it time and work. And I do think that reviewing will help, Madeline. I really do believe so.
May I ask one question? Because I get confused not confused. I guess I don't know where, I'll go to Rashi because Rashi's always been my default. Ron, I'll call you back. Rashi has always been my default ever since we're in school. You don't understand something, you go to Rashi.
Yeah.
But you're bringing in all these other things that I don't know where I'm going to find the explanation of that word that fell in the cracks that they didn't put into. That's why I seem to be lost. I don't know where to go to fill in those words that the Gemara leaves out.
Mm-hmm. So Rashi usually does help. And I try to help with the questions. I try to put myself into your head and think, what would you be thinking when you read this? And what information can I help you in the questions that would help you get through it? I don't know. I don't always fully succeed, but I try. That's, that I work very hard on what questions to ask and how to ask them in order to help you with those things. But you don't always, there are sometimes, you won't know where to go. There is no really good answer. I mean, again, you can look in a Schottenstein or a Koren, but that's not what I want you to do right now. That's not going to get you. That'll just tell you the answer. You want to struggle with it so that you figure out. And then sometimes you'll just be left with a question you won't know, but then you get to class and then you'll know at least what you don't know to know what you need to listen to. And then you'll figure out maybe for next time how to do it. And there's no real answer. It's really just experience. Over time, you'll understand how to do it. There's no real answer. It's not like there's a system. Where would I find this? Where would I find that? It doesn't work that way. It's just, you have to get used to the way they speak. They speak in a weird kind of way. It's not the way we speak. I mean, it's weird to us. It wasn't weird to them, right? They assume all sorts of things. They quote you a verse. They quote you half the verse when really what they really want you to see is the second part of the verse. They just figure that. So, when you say the first 4 words, what the other 8 words of that verse are, and they don't even bother to tell you that. They just thought you understood a lot more than maybe we understand, because the people that they were writing to had that understanding. So, or maybe not, or maybe they just did, right? Sometimes you have those teachers who just assume a lot of things and they don't fill in those gaps. I mean, maybe you think I do that also. I hope not. I try to fill in the gaps, not always successfully, but I try to fill in. But, sometimes people speak very high and they just assume everyone understands what they're talking about. Even the Mishnah spoke in a way that the Gemara didn't even always understand. They ask, what's that word? What's that word? We don't know what that is. So it's part of the style, and you just have to get used to it. And over time, it'll just get easier. What's nice, I will tell you one encouraging thing, which is when you come from not knowing a lot about how to learn Gemara, that step between when you realize, wow, I can do something, it's very exciting. Once you get to the intermediate stage, it's not as exciting anymore because you don't see the big differences. But when you get from the beginner to the a little better beginner, you feel those accomplishments. So hopefully that will happen to you. If it hasn't happened yet, it will happen soon. And don't ever get discouraged, though.
Rabbanit Michelle, if I may say something, what I find very helpful for me is where you have, when you have the English for the Mishnah and Gemara, especially the Gemara, where you have it in bold, and then the words that are not in the Gemara are like in just regular, unbolded, so that I can get the train of thought of what's going on, but I know which words are the Gemara words. I find that very helpful. So,
like the Safaria, you're saying, the way Safaria does it.
Well, actually, you do that also. Don't you do that in the...
The truth is sometimes I'll put something in parentheses or something.
I've seen that. Well, I find that very helpful, yes, because then I see what exactly is the Gemara saying, right? And then what do I have to fill in to make it a complete sentence? Okay, so I find that very helpful, and I'm just overwhelmed with how much I love this. I'm trying to restart Daf Yomi. I managed it for Ta'anit, and I didn't get Megillah, which I really wanted to learn, nor sporadically Moed Katan, and I gotta try Chagiga. It's late at night for me. I'm exhausted. Sometimes I won't video because I'm in pajamas and I look like hell, but I'm gonna try.
First of all, you can always listen to the recording.
I know, but then, then the day starts and I have 10,000 other things to do, and I better do it when it starts.
Because what I wanted to say is, if you don't want to do Daf Yomi, you can also, on our site, you can basically decide, I want to pick a Masechet, and you can learn it at your own pace. It doesn't have to be on a daily basis. You can pick a Masechet that sounds fun and interesting to you, and you can learn it from page 1, page 2, and on. And it's just, it's a resource that you can use. It doesn't have to be Daf Yomi. You don't have to commit every day. But if you take it at the pace that works for you, what's nice about Daf Yomi is it has that push because other people are doing it and it's that daily and it pushes you. But you can also do it in a different way at your own pace, at your own time.
What it is it's communal. It's the Kehillah. And that makes it very special. We actually learned this in a previous Gemara, I can't remember which one, about the individual versus the Kehillah. And I'm going to try to do it both ways. I'm going to try to stick to the Chagiga and Daf Yomi. And in my spare time, I'm preparing for Aliyah. I don't know when that's going to happen.
Nice.
But
amazing.
In my spare time, I'm going to try to go back to finish the gaps in Ta'anit and do Megillah, which I really wanted to do. So we'll figure it out. Maddie, we're going to learn together. Just remember that. Okay.
I have to say that it's
you're in a different time zone. You're pipe dreaming.
I have to dream.
The problem is the time zone.
Right?
Thank you, everyone.